Khloe Kardashian is being harshly criticized over a selfie that she recently posted to Instagram. Yes, I'm about to do an entire IO about a selfie. Who knew a selfie could stir up this much drama? But this isn't just any selfie. No, it's not. I got the tea, and I'm gonna spill it after I drink it here for you on IO. Hey yo, what's gravy fam? Welcome back to another IO video. For those that are new here, I'm so happy the YouTube algorithm brought you to our channel. Hello, I'm Charlotte. This is the channel that tells you about what's trending on the internet. So subscribe and pour yourself some Earl Grey, settle in. Okay? Okay. When I first saw Khloe Kardashian's selfie where she debuted her new look, as some people are saying, I was like, wow, okay, there's gonna be some backlash. I know this for certain. Her face looked completely different. She looked noticeably thinner and her hair was totally different. She looked amazing though. I'm not denying that. She looked really, really amazing in this photo. But she also looked unrecognizable. I knew that there was gonna be backlash. Like I waited 15 minutes and then all of a sudden all of those like exposing celebrity Photoshop accounts started posting side-by-sides of her. I knew it. And I knew I was gonna talk about it this week on IO. Here are the side-by-sides. Khloe Kardashian selfie next to what she looks like when she's photographed by paparazzi and red carpet photographers. That's different. She looks different. That's all I'll say. I'm gonna say more, but anyways. Part of me was like, okay, maybe she got like a ton of work done. Maybe she has been working out a lot and she lost a bunch of weight. She does look noticeably thinner in that photo, and losing a ton of weight would make your face look different. I mean, look at Adele. Look how different she looks after she lost all that weight. I'm not sure that losing all that weight would totally change the shape of your jaw though. Like it'll definitely change the shape of your squishy ear, but not the literal jawline. You can't shave off your jawbone. I think you can only shape it to look a little bit more, refined. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on plastic surgery by any means, but I'm pretty sure they can't get rid of your jawbone. There was also very obvious Photoshop in this photo that was pointed out by social media users. If you look at the necklace she's wearing, she accidentally blurred out one side of it when she was editing, so her necklace only has one string. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that Khloe Kardashian is an avid user of Photoshop. All the Kardashians are. She uses it a lot more than everyone else, I feel like. I honestly think that she might do this because of insecurity. I mean, look at the rest of her family. The Kardashians are the ones setting the modern beauty standards for women, but they all use Photoshop. I feel like she feels like she has to use editing apps in order to keep up with her sisters. It's heartbreaking though, like it's sad that she feels like she has to do that. But I mean, it's like she gets backlash if she does and she gets backlash if she doesn't, so. Now, I will be honest, when I first saw this photo, there was a lot of backlash in the comments. It seems that Khloe has been deleting the negativity and all that's left is pretty much people just praising her, including Tristan Thompson and her mother. Here's what I could find on Twitter. First of all, Khloe Kardashian gave herself an entire new face. She took the touching up to an entire new level. Second of all, she forgot to Photoshop her necklace chain too. Girlie, you ain't fooling anybody. I know the Kardashian family is 50% Photoshop, but that Khloe Kardashian picture is f***ing scary, dude. Does Khloe Kardashian have someone to just Photoshop her pictures into the next dimension, or... That one was a little funny. Khloe Kardashian, you really don't need Photoshop, sweetheart. Okay, call me crazy, but I kind of feel like Khloe Kardashian and Tana Mongeau are using the same editing apps. Maybe not lately. Tana Mongeau's been pretty good about it lately. But remember when Tana posted that photo of her from the red carpet and she looked completely unrecognizable? Here's a screenshot of the photo that she posted next to a side-by-side shot of the real photo that was taken by Getty Images photographers. Kind of looks like Khloe Kardashian's recent selfie, doesn't it? Like they're both kind of missing part of their jaw. Anyways, just my opinion. I sort of feel like all of them are using like special apps that you can get in Korea or something like that. This kind of thing isn't uncommon for social media users in like Asia. They've been doing it for a really long time. It's just like, it's crazy to see how drastic it is. Anyways, tell me what you think about Khloe Kardashian's recent Photoshop fail down in the comments below. And while you do that, I'm gonna wrap this one up with some quick comment replies. Joy said, I wish I was as productive as InformOverload on my channel. I now see why I'm always looking for subscribers. Thanks, IO. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but you know what? It's okay. Just be productive. Keep making videos no matter what happens. Keep at it. You'll be great.
Kim Kardashian is getting called out right now after posting a video wearing a corset where her waist looks dangerously small. I'm gonna tell you guys which actress is exposing her and why right now on IO. To stay in the loop with us, come say hi on social media. They are linked for you guys down below, and subscribe so that you don't miss our next video. And if you're into funny videos, memes, hilarious edits, or reactions, make sure you guys check out our new channel called Top 10 Central. We will also link that for you guys down below, but I know you guys are done dying to see this picture of Kim K in a corset and know all the details, so I'm gonna get into it right now. Kim posted a video to her Instagram of her wearing a corset that made her waist look wildly small. In the caption, she explained it was a photo that she took on a special trip to London when she had it specially made for her by Mr. Pearl. She said she wore a similar one to the Met Ball, but it was misplaced, so she flew to London to meet with him. She just had to have it. She finished her caption by saying she is making new looks and can't wait to show us what she comes up with. The post was filled with comments about how she is encouraging an unrealistic and unhealthy body image to her followers, and people were literally begging her to stop. But apparently they were also begging actress Jameela Jamil to speak on it. If you don't follow the actress online, she often talks about the unrealistic body standards that other celebrities promote and how much she does not agree with it. So after Kim posted the video, she finally spoke up about it. She posted a screenshot from Kim's video and shared a very long caption with it. I will give you guys a rundown on what it says because it's pretty long. She started by saying that she received over 1,000 DMs of people asking her to speak on it, and she finally decided to because she thinks it is both damaging and disappointing. She was quick to say she is not trying to cancel Kim, but that she wants people to recognize that this is a ridiculous expectation of women, which is developed by the patriarchy. Jamil said it was irresponsible for her to encourage this impossible beauty standard to her fans who heavily look up to her. Part of her caption got very personal and says, I quote, "Kim, like many of us, has had decades of body image issues and obsession. This has been heavily perpetuated by how much the media scrutinized her and her sisters over their appearances. She isn't actively trying to harm you, she's just so harmed and deluded into thinking that this is what she needs to look like to be special and beautiful, and she's spilling it out onto her following. Is this wrong? Yes, but I'm not sure she realizes that she's doing to others what her idols did to her, in making her think a tiny waist is the key to femininity and sex appeal." Now, in all honesty, this is not the first time someone in Hollywood has posted something like this that showed an unrealistic body frame, but maybe this one is going too far. Jamil also pointed out that we as followers and fans play a part in this, which I thought was a really interesting perspective. She said, "The smart thing to do is to protect yourself. You have the power, you control every market. You choose what and who is trendy. Unfollow the people who tell you things that hurt your self-esteem. Don't let the debris of their damage spill out onto you. Unfollow people and brands that don't make you feel powerful and happy and grateful for what you have. The patriarchy wants us to focus on our weight instead of power, equality, and psychological freedom. F anyone who encourages this. Block, mute, delete, repeat." I honestly get what her point is with this. Kim's post received so many comments, and even if they're negative, you're still giving her social media engagement, and it's just feeding into the publicity. By following her, liking pictures, commenting on posts, honestly, that is all part of the hierarchy. Now, I also do agree that I don't think Kim is purposely trying to harm people. I just don't think she sees the corset video as something harmful. As someone who has personally struggled with body dysmorphia, I really do see how this could be harmful to other women. It's not just Kim though, it's honestly all of the Hollywood media that can make people feel that you're as beautiful as the celebrity you adore if you look the way they do. Like growing up, I remember all I did was look at magazines and I would compare myself to the girls in the magazines, because to me, from a girl, it was like, I can only be in the magazine if I look like the girl in the magazine. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about all of this. Share your thoughts and feelings with me down in the comments below. But for now, I'm gonna check out some comments from my last IO story, Kylie and Kendall Jenner exposed by factory workers. Smelly Cat says, "It looks so trashy and narcissistic for her to be selling masks with her name on it. Probably selling those for like $50. Yup, everyone's doing that right now. Every company, brand, celebrities, they're all selling masks. How about we just donate them?" Mayak says, "Kylie could pay all the workers at least half of their pay for 6 months and not notice a damn difference in her life. That family is so cut off from reality, it's disturbing." I honestly saw a lot of comments like this, and it's true. She could pay those workers to not work, literally, or like I said, you know, make some masks and donate them, and she wouldn't even be faced. That money would be like, oh, I'm missing money? She wouldn't even know. I was rolling in that dough. Nan Hannah says, when will IO release their merch? I wish I knew. I've been wanting IO merch since I started working here a year and a half ago, so I really have no answer for that. Aya Hideki says, this made me laugh a little. It's InformOverload with Jacket of Most Amazing. Haha, both channels that I love. Hey, I had to represent the company, you know what I'm saying? I wear that sweater on any channel. We're all one company.
Chrissy Teigen is in a huge scandal involving Kourtney Stodden, and it really feels like this is yet another incident of Chrissy's true colors actually showing. I'm Mackenzie and let's get into the details. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check out our playlist with other videos like this. This story actually starts many years ago when Kourtney Stodden married 50-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson when they were only 16 years old. Kourtney is non-binary, so I will be referring to Stodden as they, them. After this exploitative marriage, the blame seemed to come solely on Stodden, even though Stodden was not the adult in the situation, and they were attacked in the media constantly, even by other celebrities like Teigen. This revelation came out in a recent interview Stodden did with the Daily Beast, where they exposed the nasty words celebrities said at that time. One of the worst offenders was Chrissy Teigen. Stodden claimed that Teigen repeatedly encouraged them to take their own life, and Stodden alleged that they never received any sort of apology from Teigen. After that interview, some of Teigen's old tweets resurfaced, and they are just as horrendous as Stodden claimed. BuzzFeed pulled screenshots from some of the tweets Teigen reportedly sent in 2011 and 2012, and many of the tweets which tag Stodden are mocking and hurtful. One of the tweets read, quote, "Go to sleep forever." Another read, quote, "What drug makes you want to do that with your mouth? Asking for a friend who really wants to know how to look like an idiot. Thanks." And to make things even worse, Stodden alleged that Chrissy would not just tweet about them, but also send Stodden private messages. These messages apparently told Stodden to end their own life and told Stodden that Teigen couldn't wait for them to pass away, but in much meaner language than I just said. During that time, Stodden said celebrities also piled on, adding, quote, "Joy Behar had a field day calling me a slut. Courtney Love told me I was a whore," they recalled. Quote, "People came out of the woodwork to beat up on a kid because I was in a situation that I shouldn't have been," Stodden said. This is not the first time Kourtney Stodden has brought up these claims. They also spoke about it in March when Chrissy Teigen left Twitter for a brief time because she couldn't handle the constant hate that she was getting online. Stodden said in a video posted at that time that Teigen was being a hypocrite. Quote, "I experienced so much harassment and bullying from her when I was just 16 years old, 17 years old, just 18 years old, at a time when I was being manipulated." So clearly Chrissy could dish out the hate to other people, but couldn't take it back. After her old tweets were exposed, Teigen decided to face the situation head on, and she apologized on her Twitter account in a series of tweets, saying, quote, "Not a lot of people are lucky enough to be held accountable for all their past BS in front of the entire world. I'm mortified and sad at who I used to be. I was an insecure, attention-seeking troll. I'm ashamed and completely embarrassed at my behavior, but that is nothing compared to how I made Kourtney feel. These were not my only mistakes and surely won't be my last, as hard as I try, but God, I will try." With Chrissy adding that she tried to contact Kourtney privately, but she also wanted to make it public for everyone to see. With Chrissy finishing off her statement, saying that she will strive to be better than she was 10 years ago. But that apology might have been all smoke and mirrors, because Kourtney later clarified online that they did not hear from Chrissy directly whatsoever. As well, Chrissy has Stodden blocked on social media, so there's no way for the two of them to have a discussion, although Kourtney stated that they did accept the apology. That's all for now for that specific story, but frankly, it's incredibly hard to look at Chrissy the same way after this. I know the tweets were from over a decade ago and we should give people the space to learn and grow, but the fact that she would ever publicly attack someone who literally did nothing to her just really doesn't sit right with me, and we should definitely hold her accountable for this mean girl behavior. Guys, please let me know your thoughts below on this. What do you think of Chrissy, and do you feel differently about her after this story? I used to really like Chrissy, but she's gotten in so much drama recently, it's really hard for me to look past it all. Let me know your thoughts below. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on influencers that tried to warn us about Ellen. Samantha said, "It was Nikki tutorials for me when a sister doesn't even get a toilet done." Yeah, I didn't even include it in that one actually, but yeah, Nikki wasn't given a toilet at Ellen because the Jonas Brothers were there, and I guess all three of them needed like their own separate bathrooms, so Nikki didn't even get one, which is
super weird. Then Ava said, I always tell my son the truth will always come out, so always do the right thing. I completely agree with that. I feel like we've seen that the most this and last year. Whatever you do in your past will come out eventually, so be a good person. Then Michelle said, didn't like that she didn't practice what she preached with her be nice mantra. Kind of ticked me off. Honestly, I feel like the more that comes out about these celebrities and stuff, the celebrities that try to act the nicest, I believe, have the most to hide and the most skeletons in their closet. Take that for what you will, but I just feel like the nicest celebrities are always the ones getting exposed, and it's like, what are these people like really behind the scenes? Since the last time we spoke about Chrissy Teigen, a lot more has happened. More atrocious old tweets of hers have been exposed where she attacked countless other celebrities, and she's been dropped by a number of brands because of it. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into this update, but first make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. In the last video, I mostly spoke of Chrissy's terrible tweets and private DMs to Kourtney Stodden, where Teigen told them to take their own life, along with other horrible statements. But since those tweets have been exposed, other horrible tweets of Chrissy's have resurfaced. To give a quick summary of some of the worst tweets, in 2013 she attacked Teen Mom star Farrah Abraham on multiple occasions, tweeting, quote, Farrah Abraham now thinks she's pregnant from her adult tape. In other news, you're a and everyone hates you. Whoops, not another news story. This was referring to the tape that Farrah made with adult film star James Dean at that time. After fans called out Chrissy for slut-shaming Farrah, she doubled down on her words and accused Farrah of leaking the tape herself, as well as paying paparazzi to make sure they took a picture of her buying a pregnancy test after the tape. And the wording of these tweets were incredibly harsh. Another slew of terrible tweets was directed at child actor Quincy Wallace. During the 2013 Oscars, where Wallace was nominated, Chrissy tweeted out, quote, is it okay to call a small child cocky? Adding later, quote, I am forced to like Quincy Wallace because she's a child, right? Okay, fine. Wallace is currently 17 years old, but she was only 9 when Chrissy tweeted these things. But that's not all. Chrissy actually decided to body shame Mariah Carey after she announced that she was pregnant with twins, writing, quote, why is anyone surprised Mariah is having twins? I was always pretty positive there were 2 to 15 babies growing inside of her. Lastly, Chrissy took aim at singer Avril Lavigne and tweeted out in 2011, quote, if you told me I could have one kid but it would be exactly like Avril, I would choose to have a barren, sterile existence that ends when I die. Then after, she said watching Avril was the second most painful thing she had watched that day. And trust me, there were so many more tweets that we actually have 2 top 10 lists on her tweets if you want to check those out. After more and more of these terrible tweets started to resurface, brands that worked with Teigen decided to drop her. The first brand to cut ties was Bloomingdale's, as well as their parent company Macy's. After the tweets about Kourtney Stodden were revealed, Macy's decided to take a stand and cut Teigen from their establishment, and they ended up dropping Teigen's Cravings by Chrissy cookware line. Other establishment Bloomingdale's was actually only hours away from signing a massive deal with Chrissy, where Chrissy was going to be hosting a promotional event for the store. But that deal was cut after the allegations against Teigen resurfaced from Stodden. The next retailer to take a stand was Target, although there is some back and forth about what actually happened here. Following the Kourtney Stodden scandal, it was reported that Target had also dropped her Cravings line. However, Target reps later stated that Target dropped Chrissy in December of 2020, and the timing of everything is purely a coincidence. Target's rep confirmed this to Fox Business, saying, quote, we made the mutual decision in December to no longer carry the cookware line, given our continued focus on brands we develop, and that can only be found at Target, the memo stated. So thankfully, after all of these terrible tweets, Chrissy is finally facing repercussions for her actions. Since the scandal, Chrissy has been silent on all her social media accounts and shows no sign of coming back. And considering this is one of the many huge scandals Chrissy has been involved in over the last few years, I don't think her comeback will be well received. That's all for the update, guys, but before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from celebrities that warned us about Chrissy Teigen Part 2. And make sure to check that out if you haven't already. Carly said, instead of calling this series celebrities who tried to warn us about Chrissy, it should be called Every Time Chrissy Has Caused Problems for No Reason. That is exactly right. Honestly, I feel like these scandals against her wouldn't be as bad if there was like mutual beef between these people. Like, you know, if celebrities want to fight, no one really cares. But when it's so one-sided, it's like, what is wrong with you? And CL Brierly said, yikes, she's really not nice. What caused her to be like this? Not saying it would excuse it because she was literally attacking people for nothing, but it would be interesting to know. I completely agree. Like, what is the reason? I know she said in her apology that it was because of insecurity, and I do probably think that is the case. Like, she was attacking these people because they were bigger and better stars than her, but still, like, people have insecurities and they don't tweet out to attack them. It's very, very strange. Then Michelle said, Chrissy Teigen probably doesn't even see herself as a bully, which which is sad and disgusting. Her apologies don't even seem like real apologies. She's been caught out and exposed, and she probably thinks saying sorry will fix everything and make it go away. Unfortunately, I think that is true. I think she just thinks apologies will make it go away. No, I don't think that's gonna fly this time. It'll be definitely interesting to see how the public does react to her coming back, because I feel like every time she leaves Twitter and come back, it's not actually good reaction, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. Demi Lovato has been caught up in some controversy after she publicly called out a small business for selling sugar-free products. On Sunday, Demi decided to grab some frozen yogurt from a popular froyo place in LA called The Big Chill, but she was not happy with what she saw while in the shop and shared her disdain with her over 100 million Instagram followers. Writing on her story, quote, "Finding it extremely hard to order froyo from The Big Chill when you have to walk past tons of sugar-free cookies / other diet foods before you get to the counter. Do better, please." Adding the hashtag diet culture vultures. The company then responded back on their Instagram story saying that they carry items for diabetics, celiac disease, and vegans, as well as indulgent items. The company then DM'd Demi directly, saying, quote, "We are not diet vultures. We cater to all of our customers' needs for the last 36 years. We are sorry you found this offensive." Demi responded back on her Instagram story, writing that she's going to make the hashtag diet culture vultures a thing and call out companies that enable disordered eating. Demi then showed the long response she sent back to the shop through her DMs, with Demi writing back to the company, quote, "Not just that, your service was terrible, so rude. The whole experience was triggering and awful. You can carry things for other people while also caring for another percentage of your customers who struggle daily just to even step foot in your store," with her saying that the store needs to do better to cater to EDs. Then it seemed that a little while after, Demi might have realized that she was being a bit harsh and added that the store should make their messaging more clear and highlight that the sugar-free options are for diet needs, not to promote diet culture. So after this ridiculous feud with the small business, Demi started to get called out immediately by people online for her words, especially for completely forgetting that diabetic people exist who need to eat sugar-free treats if they want to indulge. And obviously this triggered anger from Demi because she's struggled with eating issues for years, and she's been open about her struggles overcoming her eating issues, as well as promoting body positivity on her platform. However, this was just a really bad take and basically demonized any person who wants sugar-free options for any reason, whether that be for a health restriction or because they might just feel better eating that option for whatever reason. Personally, I'm keto right now, so a sugar-free option would be something that I would gravitate to. And I think the bigger problem for me is that this is just a really entitled take. Like, there are so many bigger issues going around in the world today, from the pandemic to violence and poverty, and that doesn't mean that eating issues are not important. However, just because this is an issue very important to Demi doesn't mean the whole world should need to cater to her needs. Like, a store is able to sell literally whatever they want, and the free market decides if it will continue to be sold based on who buys it. Like, if people didn't want to buy these products, they just wouldn't be sold. A lot of people online are also labeling Demi a Karen, which I think is the perfect descriptor for her right now. And like I said before, disordered eating is something that Demi has been battling for a long time. In 2017, she released a documentary called Simply Complicated, where she spoke more about it, saying in the doc, quote, "Food is still the biggest challenge in my life. I don't want to give it the power to say it controls my every thought, but it's something I'm constantly thinking about." That same month, she posted a side-by-side photo of herself at the time and from several years prior on Instagram stories to show just how far she had come, saying in the caption, "Recovery is possible." Since then, Demi has been open about her struggles with substances and her road to sobriety. This all came to mainstream attention after Demi was rushed to the hospital in 2018 following an OD. Since then, she has pushed to educate the public and has spoken more about that part of her life in her latest YouTube docuseries called Dancing with the Devil. So it's clear that Demi has good intentions with things and wants to help make changes in society with those that are struggling. But I think it's also very important for her to acknowledge when she's in the wrong. And I just really think she needs to acknowledge that bullying small businesses on her massive platform really isn't going to do much to help diet culture in any way. So that's all for the video, guys. Please let me know your thoughts on any of the topics below, and let me know your thoughts on Demi in general, because I feel over time the sentiment online about her seems to be getting more negative with each scandal like this that she gets involved in. So I'd love to hear if you have any, strong opinions about her below. But before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments from my video on Khloe Kardashian. So Annie said, "Khloe calling Jordan the reason her family's broken is such a hypocrite who swore fidelity, who swore to be by your side, who got you pregnant. So true. Jordan was just her friend. Tristan was the one that was actually dating her. Two very different things. Then another user said, even the Kardashians cannot keep up with their own beauty standard. Isn't that sad that even the people that create the beauty standard literally can't even keep up with it? Then Lanya said, the thing with Khloe Grace Moretz is what really opened my eyes to the Kardashians. Like, that was effing disgusting thing no matter what. I completely agree. That was so weird to see, like, a grown woman coming for, I think probably a teenager at that time like that. And Khloe didn't even say anything directly related to them, like Khloe Grace Moretz. So weird to me, that whole scandal.
Now, it's safe to say this lockdown has been tough on all of us, but it seems Kesha may be dealing with the worst of it as she has turned to meditation in hopes of contacting aliens thanks to Demi Lovato. I don't know, we thought 2020 was a strange year, but it seems 2021 is picking up right where its little brother left off. And I'm gonna tell you guys all about Kesha's newfound hobby right now on InformOverload, but before I do, you guys gotta smash that like button, otherwise Kesha and Demi will send the aliens to abduct you and you'll never get to watch our videos ever again. Be safe out there, folks. All right, let's get her going. So Kesha apparently has a podcast called Kesha with the Creepies that explores, I quote, supernatural subjects and alternative lifestyles. I didn't know she had a podcast. I doubt you guys knew she had a podcast. Hell, I don't even think Kesha knew she had a podcast, but that's besides the point here. Kesha decided to invite Demi Lovato onto her show to talk about, you guessed it, aliens. Now, Kesha's podcast isn't all about aliens per se, but more so just opening your mind in general. You gotta open your mind hole. Well, shout out to Che there, Top 10 Central Vibe, go check it out. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Kesha talked about how the idea for the podcast started. I quote, I have never been this still. The world has just been at war this past 12 months. Like, the energy is just really insane, and we're facing things that need to be faced and need to be addressed. But going through this hasn't been, I think, probably an easy experience. It's necessary, but it's just been a lot of anxiety. I'm in this place where I just want to grow. I want to see things from different perspectives. I want to understand and I want to find empathy for people. I don't want to fight, I just want to understand people. As self-described spiritual explorer, Kesha went on to say, I'm just talking about anything supernatural, anything unexplainable. I'm talking to musicians about the craziest stuff we've ever gone through. All different kinds of people from all over the world and giving their wildest experiences. It's just helping my perspective grow. Just seeing the world and spirituality and the supernatural from everybody's different perspectives. It's so interesting to me because I've always been into that. Now that's all fine and dandy, but where does Demi come into play? Well, as previously mentioned, Kesha had Demi on her podcast and the two talked about aliens. Demi has been fascinated with the idea of extraterrestrials for some time now, recently posting photos to her Instagram describing her experience at Joshua Tree National Park alongside a UFO documentarian. In a short clip posted to Kesha's Instagram account, she shared herself and Demi talking about extraterrestrial experiences, which included Demi showing photos and videos of some of her first experiences. And it seems following the two's conversation, Kesha took a lot of what Demi said to heart. Either way, Kesha went on to explain to ET that the conversation eventually led to her trying to communicate with aliens via meditation. I quote her saying, I love the conversation we had because there were a couple books she mentioned and an app she mentioned that I immediately downloaded. I told my family all I want for Christmas is for us all to meditate and try to channel extraterrestrials. And they were like, okay. I'm like trying to get all my friends and family into meditating the aliens to us. It's my new hobby because of Demi Lovato. Now, personally, I've wanted to get into meditation for some time now. I've heard great things about how it can affect you physically, mentally, and spiritually. You become one. You feel like you're whole. But aliens? No, I'm not so sure about that one. It seems Kesha's main goal here is to connect with her fans and allow them to see a side of her they would only see on tour, which isn't a possibility now or in the near future. She went on to say, I quote, I love making music and I love my fans, but I also feel like on my spiritual side and my personal growth side, I want to take them with me on that journey because it's been really influencing the music I'm making. I want to be as connected to everyone and grow as much as humanly possible because I think it's necessary. We need to grow and we need to grow together. I just want to find common ground and just have conversations with people. I just want to talk to people. Because I think if we all kind of put our egos aside, we're all human beings. And I think at the end of the day, if you're able to speak to people, you'll understand them more. Now I will say guys, as many jokes as I've made about Kesha or the situation at hand throughout this video, regardless if they were funny or not, I will say I genuinely do agree with what she finished off with. At the end of the day, conversation and perspective is so important when trying to find common ground. Yelling and arguing won't get us anywhere, so the next time you disagree with someone or don't see eye to eye, try to understand it from their perspective. It's just my 2 cents. As always guys, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. Has Area 51 been getting it wrong all this time? Is it really just meditation that we need to attract aliens and not the hundreds and millions, maybe even billions of dollars, taxpayers' money, may I say, that we've been using for that? Anyways, who knows guys? For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. Woman makes $1.5 million a year after cosmetic surgery. Jay Brown said, honestly, at least she's really honest. The normalization of these big surgeries and procedures is really concerning. The new normal is dangerous both for mental and physical health. Could not agree with that more. Aside from these unrealistic beauty standards that are out there, like on Instagram and social media and stuff, like it's bad. Like a lot of these influencers, you know, altering their bodies and almost trying to sell it like it's a natural look. I'm very much so in the camp of like, do whatever you want with your body, like in regards to anything, physical surgeries, tattoos, like anything really that's like permanent like that. I mean, do whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. But when it comes to portraying a standard, that's a very different story. But it's no different than bodybuilding and steroids. Like, admit that when you're on steroids, these bodybuilders don't think that they have to obtain that naturally. Different subject, but you know. Elf Trash said, I think Jared should keep his hair long because wow. I don't know, it's really annoying. I was gonna cut it a while ago. My hair used to be my hair used to probably be down about here. It used to be way longer when I worked here in 2016, 2017. If you guys go back through Io's videos to like 2017, 2016, my hair was like down to here. I had man bun and everything. It was wild, so check it out. Maybe it'll grow that long, but hopefully not. Hopefully the lockdown ends soon and I can get a haircut. Asia Gray said, she looked cute without surgery. Why fix what ain't broke? Anyway, I hope she was happy. Always do what you want, I guess. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it's like it's everyone's personal choice, you know, like yeah, prime example is my hair. Some people like my hair long. You guys might be like, don't cut it because it ain't broke. And I'm just gonna get the pair of scissors here and cut it off on live camera. I'm just joking, I'm not gonna do that. Anyways, guys, that's all for this one. Been your host, Jared Bronstein. Hope you've been staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys soon. Shia LaBeouf has been in the spotlight since he was a kid. At just 10 years old, he started doing stand-up comedy as he sought to be an escape from the hostile environment he grew up in. LaBeouf would then go on to star in the Disney show Even Stevens for 3 seasons, until breaking into the film industry, starring in hits such as Holes, Disturbia, and of course Transformers. And for a while, the future for Shia looked incredibly promising. He was an up-and-coming movie star who had been in the spotlight long enough that everyone got familiar with the name and face. And then everything seemed to go downhill fairly quickly. Today on InformOverload, we're going to be talking about Shia LaBeouf, but before we do, make sure you guys smash that like button as it would really help us out. Alright, let's get into things. Odds are you've heard about the most recent allegations made against LaBeouf, who is being accused by his ex-girlfriend, singer FKA Twigs, of abuse, sexual misconduct, and more. FKA Twigs claimed during their year-long relationship from 2018 until 2019, LaBeouf would act erratically at times. At one point, he was driving recklessly without a seatbelt on and threatened to crash their car. Another instance saw LaBeouf allegedly slamming FKA Twigs against a car at a gas station, screaming at her and attempting to choke her before she agreed to get back in their car. Sources also claim at one point, LaBeouf told FKA Twigs he would drive around Los Angeles shooting stray dogs dead to get into the mindset of a killer for an upcoming role. Clearly these are not actions of someone who is mentally stable, and to no surprise, LaBeouf has admitted to being unstable in the past, relying on both drugs and alcohol, which he has attended rehab for. In regards to the allegations made by FKA Twigs, LaBeouf released a statement to the New York Times in which he said, I quote, I have no excuses for my alcoholism or aggression, only rationalizations. I have been abusive to myself and everyone around me for years. I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I'm ashamed of that history and I'm sorry to those I hurt. There is nothing else I can really say. He then followed up with many of these allegations are not true, but he is willing to hold himself accountable for his past mistakes. Sources are now claiming that LaBeouf is in a 12-step program and is also getting therapy to help with his mental state. The sad reality is many of Shia's issues stem from his childhood trauma, and that have led to him relying on external sources, in this case drugs and alcohol, to cope with his issues. Now with that being said, it doesn't mean we should brush off the numerous allegations made against him, nor should people see this as taking sides. Instead, I think it's incredibly important to look at what led Shia to where he is today, and what needs to happen moving forward to ensure he not only protects himself, but anyone around him as well. And hopefully by sharing this story, it will help encourage those going down a similar path to seek help sooner than later. As previously mentioned, LaBeouf was a child Disney star, and unfortunately we have seen time and time again, they tend to grow up and end up getting into their fair share of trouble. But it seems it was more than just the pressure from the executives, agents, and managers that led to LaBeouf's career and life to get to the point it's presently at. For those of you who have seen Honey Boy, or at least heard about it, then you likely know it was about LaBeouf's childhood, which saw his alcoholic father abuse him. While in rehab, LaBeouf wrote the script as a form of therapy, and would later turn it into a film, which would premiere at the Sundance Film Festival. Aside from being positively received, it also gave the public a look at what Shia LaBeouf's childhood was like, and it was quite sad. The film's director, Alma Harrell, explained to Deadline back in 2019 that filming the movie was tough for him. I quote, "It was so painful. It was probably the longest 19 days of my life. It's been almost a year since we've been to Sundance and put this film out there for people, and it feels shorter than what it felt to shoot this film. Every day was like breathing in pain and breathing out love and trying to get through it." Someone who saw things firsthand clearly saw the pain that Shia was dealing with even as he grew up by telling the story of his life. And still, when asked about the recent allegations against him, Harrell said that LaBeouf's road to recovery is still not an excuse for his actions.
And I'd have to agree with him there. Regardless of what someone is going through, your actions can never be justified if you hurt someone else, either physically or mentally. However, it seems this is an incredibly fine line. Because at what point does someone determine whether or not a person's actions can be attributed to their mental state and just their mental state alone? I'm sure there are plenty of people who are defending Shia, saying that due to his childhood PTSD and addictions, he shouldn't be at fault for his actions. But at the end of the day, you do need to hold yourself accountable for your actions, regardless of the situation, especially when it affects other people as well as yourself. In regards to Shia's situation, it seems there are plenty of factors that led to him being the man he is today. For example, while speaking with Esquire magazine, Shia recalled the time he witnessed his mother being assaulted when he was just 9 years old. I quote him saying, "I froze. The man ran out and my mom ran after him. A neighbor came running over. I remember he had a crossbow." Afterwards, LaBeouf remembered his mother talking with police. I quote him saying, "It was the first time I ever heard the word pubic." That's how she described his facial hair. "The next day at school, I told some kid that his hair looked like pubic hair, and I remember getting in trouble. They never found the guy." It's believed this incident, on top of the pressure of being a child actor and of course his abusive father, led to LaBeouf heavily relying on alcohol to cope. In 2014, LaBeouf was arrested in New York after acting out at Studio 54 Theater and was charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and criminal trespass. Reports claimed he was acting disorderly, yelling, and being loud. Following the incident, he voluntarily sought out counseling for alcoholism. Unfortunately, this was just the start of things to come. In 2017, LaBeouf had a few run-ins with the law, being sued $5 million by a bartender, and getting arrested after being involved in an altercation with an undercover officer. This incident also led to his racist rant being caught by TMZ, which led to LaBeouf feeling like he was at rock bottom. This is what led to him going to rehab, which is where he would learn of his PTSD and write the film Honey Boy. And although it seemed like following his rehab stint, LaBeouf was in a good place, with talks of him opening a free theater school in LA for those in less fortunate situations, unfortunately he would fall back to old habits. It's possible his 2018 divorce from his ex-wife of 2 years, Mia Goth, led to LaBeouf going back to the old habits, led to him being self-destructive and hurting those around him. Given that he would date FKA Twigs shortly after the divorce, it's starting to all make sense. The sad reality with Shia LaBeouf is that until he's willing to help himself, he's never going to improve his well-being. FKA Twigs initially wasn't going to charge him with anything, but after he refused to seek counseling, her attorneys explained she decided to move forward with the charges. All in all, it's awful that FKA Twigs, along with Shia and the others who have come forward with their own negative experiences in relation to LaBeouf, had to go through what they went through. Hopefully bringing light to the situation will not only make people aware and more cautious of LaBeouf, but will also encourage him to get the help he needs once and for all. As easy as it would be to dismiss LaBeouf and say throw him in jail, the reality is that won't be a solution to the problem. He'll continue with his destructive ways and this downward trend until he's ready to help himself. But until then, unfortunately, we just need to wait and contain Shia, whether that be in a cell or hospital, for him to take the steps to get clean once and for all. It seems he was almost there back in 2018, but unfortunately derailed. I'm not sure what it's going to take this man to change his ways, but I hope he gets the help he needs sooner than later, as I wouldn't want him to hurt anyone else around him or himself ever again. Now, as always guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one down below. Do you think Shia's past should come into consideration when speaking about his present actions, or are people trying to excuse his actions? Let me know below. For now, let's reply to some comments from the video. Top 10 celebrities caught lying on social media, part 3. Afro Betty said, if you can't trust celebrities online, then who can you trust? Your friends, your close friends, the people that you know in real life, that's who you could trust. Justin Graves said, how to tell if a celeb is lying, check whether their mouth is moving. Yeah, a lot of celebrities tend to lie a lot, unfortunately. That's just the way it is. I don't know, sorry. I'm not saying I lie a lot, I'm just saying in general. I'm not a celebrity either, so I don't know why I said that. Adam Filewood said, can I add Rebel Wilson is actually a lawyer as well? Didn't know that. Very cool. Rebel Wilson, a lawyer and an actor. Interesting. I'm an actor. Maybe I'll practice law. Anyways, guys, that's all for this one. Been your host, Jared Bronstein, and we'll see you soon.